Hello, I'm Dr. Emily Hart, and what I'm about to reveal to you today could explain why your energy has been dropping, why your performance has been declining, and why you just don't feel like the man you used to be. I'm a board-certified physician with over 19 years of experience specializing in men's hormonal health, and I've discovered something that's absolutely shocking. There are two extremely common foods that millions of men eat together almost every single day. And when you combine these two foods in the same meal, they create a biochemical reaction in your body that literally shuts down testosterone production overnight. And the worst part is that most men have no idea this is happening to them. Before I tell you what these two foods are, I need you to understand something critical. If you've been experiencing symptoms like low energy, decreased muscle mass, increased belly fat, poor performance, brain fog, or just a general feeling that something is off, you might have been blaming it on stress, aging, or just bad luck. But what if I told you that the real culprit is sitting on your plate at nearly every meal? What if the food combinations you've been eating your entire life, combinations that you thought were perfectly healthy, are actually sabotaging your testosterone production and destroying your masculine vitality? Let me tell you about Richard. 54 years old when he came to my office, absolutely frustrated and desperate. He'd always been active, always taken care of himself, but over the past 18 months, everything had changed. His energy was gone by mid-afternoon. He'd gained 25 pounds all around his midsection, despite exercising regularly. His strength had decreased noticeably. His drive and performance had become almost non-existent. And mentally, he felt foggy and unmotivated in ways he'd never experienced before. Richard had already been to 2 different doctors who ran basic blood work and told him his testosterone was low for his age, but still technically in the normal range. They suggested he was just getting older and offered him antidepressants or testosterone replacement therapy. But Richard didn't want to be on medications for the rest of his life. He wanted to understand why his body had suddenly stopped working properly. When I started investigating Richard's diet and lifestyle, I found something remarkable. Richard was unknowingly eating a specific combination of 2 foods at almost every single meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, this toxic combination was on his plate, systematically shutting down his body's ability to produce testosterone. And he had absolutely no idea, because these are foods that nutritionists and doctors have been telling us for decades are healthy and important parts of a balanced diet. I immediately had Richard eliminate this food combination completely. I didn't change anything else about his diet or lifestyle initially because I wanted to see if this one change would make a difference. Within 2 weeks, Richard called me. "Dr. Hart," he said, "I don't know if this is placebo effect or what, but I feel different. I have more energy, I'm sleeping better, and I just feel more like myself." 1 month later, Richard had lost 8 pounds of fat, gained noticeable muscle definition, and reported that his performance issues had resolved completely. 3 months later, we retested his testosterone, and it had increased by 43%. So, what are these 2 foods that you should never eat together? They are soy products and refined carbohydrates. Now, before you think this sounds too simple, let me explain exactly why this combination is absolutely devastating to testosterone production, because the science behind this is both clear and frightening. Let's start with soy. Soy products, including tofu, soy milk, edamame, soy protein isolate, and the countless processed foods that contain soy ingredients, are loaded with compounds called phytoestrogens. These are plant-based compounds that mimic the structure and function of estrogen in your body. When you consume soy, these phytoestrogens bind to estrogen receptors throughout your body, including in your testicles, your pituitary gland, and your hypothalamus, which are the key organs involved in testosterone production. Multiple studies have shown that regular soy consumption can significantly decrease testosterone levels in men. One study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that men who consumed soy protein daily experienced a 19% decrease in testosterone levels within just 4 weeks. Another study found that high soy intake was associated with lower sperm count and reduced testicular function. The mechanism is clear. Phytoestrogens interfere with the hormonal signals that tell your body to produce testosterone. But here's where it gets really dangerous. When you combine soy with refined carbohydrates like white bread, pasta, white rice, pastries, or sugary foods, you create a perfect storm that completely shuts down testosterone production. Here's why. Refined carbohydrates cause a massive spike in blood sugar, which triggers a corresponding spike in insulin. Insulin is a storage hormone that, when elevated, signals your body to shut down testosterone production and increase fat storage. High insulin levels also increase the activity of an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. So what happens when you eat soy and refined carbohydrates together? The soy provides external estrogen-like compounds that occupy your estrogen receptors and suppress testosterone production. Meanwhile, the refined carbohydrates spike your insulin, which further suppresses testosterone and increases the conversion of whatever testosterone you do have into estrogen. It's a double assault on your hormonal system, and it happens every single time you eat this combination. And here's the truly frightening part. This combination is everywhere in the American diet. Think about it. Soy milk on cereal, tofu stir-fry with white rice, soy protein bars with added sugars, processed foods that contain both soy ingredients and refined flour. The typical American breakfast of cereal with soy milk, Asian takeout with tofu and white rice, protein shakes made with soy protein, isolate and sweetened with sugar, restaurant meals where soy oil is used for cooking and refined carbs make up most of the plate. Let me share another patient story. Michael was 49 and had been following what he thought was a very healthy diet. He'd read that soy was a great source of plant-based protein, so he'd been drinking soy milk every morning, eating tofu several times a week, and using soy protein powder in his smoothies. He combined these soy foods with what he thought were healthy carbs like whole grain bread, brown rice pasta, and granola. He was doing everything the nutritional guidelines suggested, yet he felt terrible. Michael's testosterone had dropped to the levels of a 75-year-old man. He had almost no energy, his muscle mass had decreased dramatically, and he'd developed significant breast tissue, a condition called gynecomastia, which is caused by having too much estrogen relative to testosterone. When I explained to Michael that his healthy diet was actually destroying his hormones, he was shocked and initially skeptical. But he was also desperate, so he agreed to eliminate all soy products and all refined carbohydrates from his diet for 90 days. The transformation was remarkable. Within 3 weeks, Michael noticed his energy returning. Within 6 weeks, the breast tissue had started to shrink. Within 3 months, his testosterone had increased by 68%. He'd gained 12 pounds of muscle, lost 18 pounds of fat, and he told me he felt like a completely different person. All from eliminating one toxic food combination. Now, let me explain in more detail why refined carbohydrates are so problematic for testosterone production, because this is important. When you eat refined carbs, they're rapidly broken down into glucose and absorbed into your bloodstream. This causes blood sugar to spike quickly, which triggers your pancreas to release large amounts of insulin to bring that sugar back down. This insulin spike has several devastating effects on testosterone. First, high insulin directly suppresses the production of sex hormone-binding globulin, which is a protein that carries testosterone through your bloodstream. When SHBG is low, more of your testosterone gets converted into estrogen. Second, insulin increases the activity of aromatase, the enzyme I mentioned earlier that converts testosterone into estrogen. Third, insulin signals your body to store energy as fat rather than building muscle, and fat tissue itself produces estrogen and inflammatory compounds that further suppress testosterone. Fourth, chronic insulin elevation leads to insulin resistance, which creates a vicious cycle of hormonal disruption. The combination of soy's phytoestrogens and refined carbohydrates' insulin effects creates what I call hormonal devastation. Your testosterone production is suppressed from multiple angles simultaneously. Your existing testosterone is being converted into estrogen at accelerated rates. Your body is being flooded with estrogen-like compounds from the soy, and the inflammatory response triggered by this entire process further damages your hormonal system. Let me tell you about James. James was 61 and had been struggling with severe fatigue and complete loss of libido for over 2 years. His doctor had put him on testosterone replacement therapy, but even with the injections, he still didn't feel right. When I reviewed his diet, I discovered that James was eating soy yogurt with granola every single morning for breakfast. For lunch, he often had a sandwich on white bread with processed deli meat that contained soy protein. For dinner, he frequently ordered Chinese takeout with tofu and white rice. He was consuming the toxic soy and refined carbohydrate combination at virtually every meal. I had James stop all soy products immediately and switch to complex carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, quinoa, and vegetables instead of refined carbs. Even though he was still on testosterone replacement, his symptoms improved dramatically within just 2 weeks. His energy increased, his mental clarity returned, and his libido came back. After 3 months, we were able to reduce his testosterone dosage by half because his body was finally able to use the testosterone effectively instead of converting it all to estrogen. 6 months later, we discontinued the testosterone replacement entirely, and his natural levels had recovered to healthy ranges. Now, I want to address some common questions and objections I hear about this. First, many people have been told that soy is healthy, that it's good for your heart, that it's a great protein source. While soy does contain protein and certain nutrients, the hormonal effects in men completely outweigh any potential benefits. There are plenty of other protein sources that don't come with the testosterone-crushing side effects of soy. Eat fish, eggs, grass-fed meat, poultry, or if you want plant-based proteins, choose options like hemp protein, pea protein, or rice protein instead of soy. Second, people ask about fermented soy products like miso, tempeh, and natto. While fermentation does reduce some of the anti-nutrients in soy, these products still contain significant amounts of phytoestrogens. If you're dealing with low testosterone or hormonal issues, I recommend avoiding all forms of soy until your hormones are optimized. Once you're in a healthy range, small amounts of fermented soy occasionally are probably fine, but it should never be a dietary staple. Third, what about soy lecithin or soy oil that's found in countless processed foods? Even these smaller amounts of soy derivatives can have hormonal effects, especially when consumed frequently. This is why reading ingredient labels is so important. You'd be shocked at how many foods contain hidden soy ingredients. Processed breads, crackers, protein bars, salad dressings, mayonnaise, margarine, and countless other products contain soy in various forms. Let me give you a clear action plan for eliminating this toxic food combination from your diet. First, go through your kitchen and read every single label. Remove anything that contains soy in any form. This includes soy protein, soybean oil, soy lecithin, textured vegetable protein, and any product that lists soy as an ingredient. Yes, this means getting rid of a lot of processed foods, but that's actually a good thing because processed foods are problematic for numerous other reasons. Second, eliminate all refined carbohydrates. This means white bread, white rice, regular pasta, pastries, cakes, cookies, crackers, and sugary cereals. Replace these with complex carbohydrates that have a low glycemic impact. Sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice in moderation, vegetables, and limited amounts of fruit. These foods provide energy without causing the massive insulin spikes that shut down testosterone production. Third, focus on building your meals around high-quality proteins and healthy fats. Wild-caught fish, grass-fed beef, pastured chicken and eggs, and healthy fats from avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil. These foods provide the building blocks your body needs to produce testosterone naturally. Cholesterol from healthy fats is actually the precursor molecule for all sex hormones, including testosterone, so don't be afraid of eating adequate healthy fats. Fourth, add foods that specifically support testosterone production. Oysters and other shellfish are high in zinc, which is critical for testosterone production. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts contain compounds that help your body eliminate excess estrogen. Pomegranates have been shown to increase testosterone. Ginger root supports testosterone production and reduces inflammation. These foods actively help restore hormonal balance. Let me share one final powerful story. David was 57 and had essentially given up on feeling good again. He'd been eating what he thought was a healthy plant-based diet, rich in soy products and whole grains for over 5 years. His testosterone had plummeted. He'd gained 40 pounds, lost significant muscle mass, and developed depression. Multiple doctors had told him it was just aging and offered him various medications. When David came to see me, I explained that his plant-based diet, while well-intentioned, was hormonally devastating because of the soy and refined carbohydrate combination. David was resistant at first because he had strong beliefs about plant-based eating, but he was also miserable enough to try something different. We modified his diet to eliminate all soy and refined carbs, while still keeping it primarily plant-based, by using other protein sources and focusing on vegetables, nuts, seeds, and limited whole grains. The results were life-changing. Within 1 month, David had lost 12 pounds and noticed his energy returning. Within 3 months, he'd lost 28 pounds, gained visible muscle definition, and his depression had completely lifted. When we tested his testosterone at the 6-month mark, it had increased by an astounding 79%. David told me that changing his diet had literally saved his life and given him hope for the future again. Here's what you need to understand. Your body is incredibly resilient and has remarkable healing capacity when you stop poisoning it and start supporting it properly. The toxic combination of soy and refined carbohydrates has been systematically destroying your testosterone production, but when you eliminate these foods, your body can recover. Testosterone levels can increase, sometimes dramatically, within just a few months. I also want to emphasize that this isn't just about testosterone numbers on a lab report. This is about how you feel, how you function, and your quality of life. When your testosterone is optimized, you have energy throughout the day. You maintain muscle easily and lose fat more readily. Your mental clarity and focus improve. Your mood stabilizes and improves. Your libido and performance return. You feel confident and capable. You feel like yourself again. The food industry and conventional nutritional guidelines have failed men by promoting foods and food combinations that are hormonally destructive. Soy has been pushed as a health food despite clear evidence of its negative effects on male hormones. Refined carbohydrates have been made the foundation of the food pyramid despite their role in insulin resistance, obesity, and hormonal disruption. And nobody has been talking about the synergistic toxic effects that occur when these foods are combined. But now you know the truth. You know that soy and refined carbohydrates eaten together create a hormonal disaster that shuts down testosterone production overnight. You know that this combination is hiding in countless meals and processed foods. And most importantly, you know exactly what to do about it. Starting today, commit to eliminating this toxic food combination completely. Read every label. Avoid all soy products. Eliminate all refined carbohydrates. Build your diet around high-quality proteins, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates, and testosterone-supporting foods. Give your body 90 days of this protocol, and I promise you'll be amazed at how much better you feel. Track your progress. Notice your energy levels, your mood, your body composition, your performance, your mental clarity. Most men are shocked at how quickly they start feeling better once they stop eating the foods that have been destroying their hormones. And if possible, get your testosterone levels tested before you start, and again after 90 days, so you can see the objective improvements. Your masculine vitality, your energy, your performance, your confidence, all of these depend on having healthy testosterone levels. And healthy testosterone levels depend on eliminating the dietary factors that suppress production. The toxic combination of soy and refined carbohydrates is one of the most powerful testosterone suppressors in the modern diet, but it's completely within your control to eliminate. You don't have to accept low testosterone as inevitable. You don't have to feel tired, weak, and unmotivated. You don't have to watch your body deteriorate. The power to restore your hormonal health is in your hands, and it starts with never mixing these two foods again. Thank you for watching, and here's to your hormonal health, masculine vitality, and renewed energy.